Hello, beautiful people. Listen, Dharma, welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be checking this video from Tucker Carlson, and it's titled Liberal Journalist Accuses Tucker of Inspiring Mass Shooting. How dare you? Interesting. So, this video has been going viral for some days now, all over X, even on YouTube. And yeah, so today, we're going to be checking this one. Let's check it out.
Hi, Tucker. Thank you so much for your address today. So you talked a little bit about immigration, and in the past you've talked about how white Australians, Americans, Europeans are being replaced by non-white immigrants in what is often referred to as the Great Replacement Theory. This is the same...
Have I said that whites are being replaced?
Well...
I don't think I said that.
Well, it's been mentioned on your show 4,000 times.
Wow.
And
Really, when did I say that?
On your show.
I said whites are being replaced?
You have said that before.
Really?
Yeah.
I would challenge you to cite that, because I'm pretty sure I haven't said that.
Okay.
I said native-born Americans are being replaced, including blacks.
Native-born Americans.
Native-born Americans.
And
Americans like black Americans have been, African Americans have been in the United States for, in many cases, their families over 400 years. And their concerns are every bit as real and valid and alive to me as the concerns of white people whose families have been there 400 years. So I've never said that whites are being replaced. Not one time, and you can't cite it.
Untrue.
So we just met, but when our relationship starts with a lie, it makes it tough to be friends. So let's pull that back. I'm happy to explain what I do think.
So.
Well, you actually can't say it because I didn't say it, and I don't believe it, and I'm telling you that to your face. So why don't you just accept me at face value? My concern is that the people who are born in the country are the main responsibility of its leaders, and as noted earlier, when those leaders shift their concern from the people whose responsibility it is to take care of to people around the world, to put their priorities above that of their own citizens, that's immoral. And they are being replaced in my country, people who are born in the United States, and the birth rate tells the whole story. They are not at replacement rate. And so the US population is growing because we're importing people from other countries. And my view is that happy people have children, and a functioning economy allows them to do that. And we don't have that. And so you need to fix the economy and fix the culture and make it so that people who want to have kids can. You don't just go for the quick sugar fix of importing new people. Like, that's my position. And if you think that's racist, that's your problem.
I never called you a racist.
But of course you are suggesting, and
well,
I must say, one of the reasons people don't like people like you in the media is that you never say exactly what you mean.
Exactly.
Your slurs are all by implication, and you're about to tell me the Great Replacement Theory is racist or anti-Semitic, whatever. I've said what I've said to you right now like 100 times in public. I hope to, if I live long enough, say it 100 more times. I think it's completely honest and real, not racist or scary. It's factually true. It's not a theory, it's a fact. And the whole point of your question was to be like, you're a scary racist.
Well, I haven't.
And my response is, no, I'm not. Okay, well, how about no more lying in your questions, and then I'll answer it.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
this is the same theory, or as you say, idea, that has inspired the New York Buffalo shooting where 11 black Americans were killed.
You know what I mean?
Americans were killed.
Like,
It's also inspired...
it's not, first of all...
It's inspired one of the worst Australian guns
How do
of
they
all
get
time
people
to
this
shoot
stupid in the media? I guess it doesn't pay well. Look, I'm sorry. I've lived among people like you for too long, and I don't mean to call you stupid. Maybe you're just pretending to be, but I'm totally against violence. I'm totally against the war in Ukraine, for example, which doubtless you support. And like all dutiful liberals, support more carnage. I don't. I hate mass shootings, actually. Nothing I said, what does it mean to inspire something? My views are not bigoted against any group. They're honest, they're factual. That's not hate, that's reality. And my views derive from my deep concern for Americans, actually. Americans aren't having kids because they can't afford to, and nobody in charge cares. And so that's my position. That doesn't inspire mass shootings. How dare you try to tie me to some lunatic who murdered people? How dare you, actually? And in fact, I mean...
You know, one thing with those woke left journalists is the fact that they repeat the exact same talking point, and they love to put, like, they are so far from the truth. I kind of like wonder what exactly is wrong with them. They make people believe this, and fun fact is, people who would listen to this and would believe. But again, she did not know who exactly she was talking with, because if she knew, I bet you, she will not even make this statement, or even ask this Tucker Carlson, of all people, Tucker Carlson. Indeed, Because what is this? They don't want to do their own work, do their assignment. They want to repeat the exact same talking point and make it so believable. Seriously? Like how? And we got lots more of them, oh. This is just a few. But let's go on.
I mean, do you know what I mean? I'd be like, Hitler wore those shoes. A lot of people are saying that you're like Hitler. Can you explain those shoes? Hitler wore exactly the same shoes, and you're like, I've got nothing to do with Hitler. Well, that's how I feel about your absurd, disingenuous question.
Right, so therefore you support gun control?
What? I thought it couldn't get dumber, but it did. No, I don't support disarming law-abiding people so they can't defend themselves. So the government has a monopoly on violence? I don't think so. First of all, in my country, that's illegal, as you know. But moreover, it should be illegal in every country. A sovereign person has the right to defend himself and his family. Period. And that said, I'm totally opposed to harming anyone. Have you been calling? Are you concerned about the war in Ukraine and the countless innocents being murdered there every single day? I doubt you are. Probably Putin bad. I am. I'm a Christian. I hate violence. I hate mass shootings. I have guns at home and often on my person when I'm in the United States, I'm proud to say, because I want to defend myself and those I love against violence. That's the point. I'm not perpetrating crimes. I'm not shooting strangers. I'm defending what I love. And if you're against that, I guess I would ask why. Why would you be against that?
Well, so you don't think you harbor any kind of responsibility for these hate crimes?
For real.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be charitable. I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
Tucker, thank you for taking those questions. I'm sure you enjoyed some
Actually, I
questions from the
loved it.
press.
I just feel sorry. I mean, because I got here and the country's so unbelievably beautiful and the people are so cheerful and funny and cool and smart. I'm like, your media's got to be better than ours. It can't just be a bunch of castrated robots reading questions from the boss. And then it turns out it's exactly the same, maybe even a tiny bit dumber. Okay, I'll take your question. All right. Are you from ABC? So, thank you. I would say two things. For those who didn't hear it, the question was, it turns out a lot of things that have been derided as conspiracy theories actually bear, more investigation, actually. And given that, how do you feel about the prospects of a free and fair election in November in the United States? I think is that a fair summation? So I would say first to the phrase conspiracy theorist, which I'm certain has got to be a staple of your news media given the selection of questions I just received. That it's worth knowing the provenance of that phrase. It comes directly from the Central Intelligence Agency, actually, 1964. In the aftermath of the murder of our president, John Kennedy, in November of 63, there was a very famous and entirely fake investigation into it called the Warren Commission, and people who were reading it critically noticed anomalies, like they didn't want to investigate the guy who shot the lone gunman. You're like, what? And raised questions about it, and that phrase, conspiracy theorist, entered the lexicon in my country, and it was designed to shout down and shame people who ask legitimate questions. Now, that said, there are a ton of wackos out there, and a lot of them show up at my house, and they're nice people, but they're clearly a little touched by the Great Spirit. That's all right. I mean, there are crazy people for sure, but there are also far more people who just noticed, like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And that's kind of where I started, like, well, what is that? Shut up, racist or conspiracy theorist or whatever, lone, mass shooter or whatever this chick called me. So I think the first step is recognizing that that's a control tool. Those are not the responses of someone who seeks an honest adult conversation with you where you sort of share evidence and arrive at consensus. That's someone who believes that he can make you shut up like you would by yelling at your dog so he can go do something awful without you interfering with him. That's the truth, okay? So anyone who uses the term conspiracy theorist is by definition discredited in my view. Why don't you address the specifics of the claim I'm making, no matter what it is? The second thing I would say is I've lived long enough and covered the news long enough to not discount anything. It doesn't mean every theory is true. I hear some wacky theories. But given what we now know about so many different things, how can I, in good faith, just dismiss something out of hand? I just can't at this point. You have to stay curious, stay rational. I mean, I think people should always stay rational. Like, where's the evidence for it? If there's no evidence, it's probably not true, or you can't prove it.
Well, I guess the previous journalist did not know who exactly she was coming to meet or ask or know much about Tucker Carlson, because obviously they are just repeating the exact same talking point. The woke left, this is what they do. Um, and they make it so believable, which honestly don't make sense. I sometimes I be like, wait, is this even real? And how do people like listen to this to believe them? Because obviously they're pushing a certain narrative and they make it so believable, so people believe it without asking questions. So I mean, really, but it's not even surprising, it's not even shocking, because I mean, this is what we see. We continuously see this all the time. It's not even new, but obviously she did not do her assignment. And I bet you the next time Tucker Carlson will be having a masterclass or something, and maybe she decided to go. I bet you she will do research, and I bet you other people as well. After watching this, they would also want to do their research and come prepared. She also would also want to come prepared. But this was interesting to watch, but hilarious. And this is the point with the society. The society is breeding a lot more people to go dumber rather than people who are free thinkers or people who know the truth, but they don't want it, they don't like it. And this is the left narrative, or how the left work, or how the left want people to be. It don't make sense. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment down below. I'm sure tons of people have interesting things to share, or really love to share that and share the useful information I think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.